I recently made a sniper tutorial when it comes to XDefiant that gives you quite a few tips if you're struggling when playing, but the video also has some general tips when it comes to movement, aiming, etc. that can also be used if you're playing your favorite FPS games or games using regular guns, so it might be worth checking out. However, one thing that I also talked about is sensitivity. Something that I've seen comments about before, both on my videos and other videos as well. Players wondering how to find a good sensitivity and maybe also how to transfer that very same sensitivity between games. In my sniper tutorial, I talked about the fact that I usually try to copy and use the same sensitivity I used back in the days when I was playing Counter-Strike into other shooters as well. There are ways to calculate that, and I might do a video about that as well later on, but sometimes you can't do or achieve that, and if that's the case, then this old technique that I'll show you might come in handy when you're about to play a new game. Because having the same sensitivity, or at least close to it, in every shooter you play has some great advantages, since muscle memory comes into play, giving you a better possibility to become more consistent with your aim and your shots. And that goes both for KBAM and controllers. If you're playing XDefiant, please go to the practice range. If you're playing another shooter that doesn't have a practice range, then try to go into an empty lobby, or if possible, create a private lobby for yourself on any map, since you don't want to do this in an ongoing online match. Then I want you to find an object. It can be a target on the practice range or a pole on the actual map, a mark on the wall or similar. That can serve as your landmark or starting point. You can scope or aim down sight just to make sure that you're actually on spot, on target. Lift your mouse to the left side of your mouse pad so you don't move your character while doing so. From here, I want you to drag the mouse in a straight line over the mouse pad all the way over to the right side while you're paying attention to what's happening on your screen. The goal here is to make a perfect 360 turn, which means that you should be back pointing your gun at the starting point when you have been dragging your mouse from the left over to the right side of your mouse pad if you have the sensitivity I want you to achieve. But let's say that you completed 1.5 turns, meaning one full 360 and one 180 degrees turn, making you standing with your back towards the starting point when you reach the right side of your mouse pad. Well, then the sensitivity is a bit too high according to this principle, so then you need to lower it a bit, meaning lining up straight in front of your starting point, lift your mouse carefully over to the left side of your mouse pad, and then once more slowly drag the mouse over to the right side of your mouse pad. Continue to do this until you make this perfect 360 turn, stopping at the starting point, meaning where you started. You've probably already guessed that if you're not being able to do a 360 turn using this technique, then you need to crank up the sensitivity a bit until you make that sweet 360 turn complete as described earlier. If you're left-handed playing with KBAM, you go from the right side of your mousepad over to the left side instead. Now, this simple but yet effective technique has worked well for me in a lot of games. Usually I don't have to adjust my sensitivity any further after completing this procedure. This is not perfect science or anything, but it is a way to, at least in my experience, get a sensitivity that often feels the same and often feels balanced, if you will, not being too high but not too low either, making it possible to track enemies well when aiming down sight without flipping your aim all over the screen, since sometimes that happens if you have too high of a sensitivity. At least that's what I hope that you might achieve as well, trying out this old school sensitivity technique. With that said, I won't keep you here much longer. I hope that this might also help some of you guys out there that might just have started to play with keyboard and mouse. Or maybe you've played for some time but feel that you're having a hard time to find that sweet spot when it comes to your sensitivity, affecting your aim in different ways. Or as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, also that your sensitivity is changing too much between the games you're playing. But then again, maybe this is something for you. Well, thanks a lot for watching, checking out this OG old school sensitivity technique. And I hope to talk to you again in my next upcoming video on my channel. So cheers and have a beautiful day. Talk to you later.
They're on the go! Fidna! trucks ready to go. We're in the zone.
Let's scorch some earth.
What a bang!